Hey guys, it's Epiphanies here, aka Funny McDowell, rousing the haters and finding myself in a state of approval. So I had a run-in with I want to call them a pseudo-fan in the fact that they appear to like something that you like, but for vastly different reasons, or they're just complete posers. And this pseudo-fan, or this variety of pseudo-fan, was actually of the pro Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who variety. Let's get into it. When I ran into this pseudo-fan, I couldn't help but notice his Doctor Who lanyard. I complimented him on the Doctor Who lanyard and asked him where he got it. He said he got it at some new kind of hipster store in the local mall. Now, spoiler alert and caveats and disclaimers, I'm actually quite the hipster. I'm hipster in thought. I like bowler hats. So yeah, you can hate me for that. I often say now, hate me for being hipster. Don't hate me for being MGTOW. So I made the horrendous mistake of engaging this person on an intellectual basis by asking him to weigh in on the whole Jodie Whittaker thing. After a few bouts and a short back and forth, mind you, I noticed how pre-scripted all of his responses were, and I found that to be very disheartening. Far be it for me to demand any sort of honesty from anybody, but when I usually engage with people on any kind of level, if we're doing any kind of even surface level but slightly complex analysis of any issue or any show or movie or the things that happen within that universe, I expect a level of honesty in that whatever you're telling me is your honest opinion. But there was just so much deflection that those kind of conversations make any exchange with that sort of person just completely impalatable. And that's one of the biggest problems with these kind of people who are set in their ways. Just like this guy, he'd set his face against any opposing opinion. If you weren't pro Jodie Whittaker, pro female Doctor Who, then you're a bad person, or you're just wrong. You're just wrong. You're not a fan somehow. So that's why I kind of counter that in my mind and call these people pseudo fans, because a fan can love any aspect of a show. A true fan loves multiple aspects of the show. They can love all of it, but they can also agree that there are parts of it that narratively either don't work or were a bad idea, or were really good ideas if it had been executed properly. So what I'm saying is that a true fan can take the bitter with the sweet. And furthering the sentiment about the bitter with the sweet, we have to also understand the fact that every bit of content, once it's been, burned onto a Blu-ray, once it's been put to film and then shown in a theater, once it's been completely published and put on the shelves, it is complete. It's its own complete work. You can't add on and you can't take away from it. Or you could add on, but it has to recognize that it is not the foundation. It's simply an addition to the overall structure. But the way that I want, or I should like for everyone hearing this to look at the whole Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who female doctor issue is this. Intellectual property, creative works of any media across any platform is not a space. A space is meant to accommodate. If someone builds a structure or a room that has a predetermined number of people to be housed in there, or I should say a maximum number of people housed in there, because if you walk into any public facility, there's always a sign for things like fire safety, and in the case of emergencies, to make sure that there aren't too many people in the room so everybody can vacate the premises safely. There is a sign that says that that indicates the maximum number of people. That is not what media is. It is not to accommodate your feelings. It is to invoke a reaction. And at the very base level, in the 99 percentile, joy is what you are supposed to derive from any and all media. It is not a space, once again. These intellectual charlatans have declared that 2 plus 2 equals 1. We know it's 4, but they have taken their right hand and they have covered up the horizontal and the vertical line to make it appear as though it is a 1 and not, in fact, a 4. And when we tell them to take their hand away, they go, oh no, and they cry patriarchy, they cry bias, they say that you want me to move my hand for the wrong reasons, and I shall not have it. I will not move my hand because you don't want me to move my hand for the right reason, and that's not even the issue to begin with. I apologize for going down the rabbit hole there, but in summation, once again, it has to be said, Doctor Who is not a space, and it's certainly not an intellectual space either. Why? Because when two people are talking about Doctor Who and they invite other people for discord about that subject, which would be Doctor Who, that is an intellectual space. However, Doctor Who itself, the subject at hand, is a complete work. It cannot accommodate alterations. And no matter how much people try to make an alteration retroactively, it's not going to change the nature of the true narrative. I guess what I'm saying is this. What's happening, what has happened, unfortunately, is that they've used their doublespeak and they've declared Doctor Who to be a space. And they're saying that there is, and just like a space, like I mentioned before, there's a cap. And the cap, the people that the space will not accommodate according to their metric is men. They're saying, we're declaring this a space, and now we're pushing you out of it. And there you have it right there. Since we know that Doctor Who isn't a space, since we know that they have an agenda and they've set it against men essentially, especially the cisgendered white male patriarchy, we now understand that for this reason, I personally cannot validate this timeline of Doctor Who. I cannot validate these episodes going forward with Jodie Whittaker because it is agenda driven, and the agenda is anti-me. You cannot ask anyone like me or anybody else who likes the show. You cannot say that they have to buy into Doctor Who now, that they have to continue to support it when it is literally against them. How can you support something that's against you? You can't give a rabbit foaming Kodiak bear a hug. What would it do? How does it benefit you? So that's my last illustration. I hope you guys found this to be thought-provoking. I hope my addition to this ongoing dialogue, which this here is a space intellectually on YouTube, not Doctor Who. Doctor Who is its own thing. It's a painting once again. It's its own complete work. So anyway, sorry. I digress. And so I hope you found this to be stimulating. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and look forward to more live streams in the future. If it goes well, I'll definitely post them, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Epiphanies, out.